Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing? Hey, my name is Marie-France Lalonde. I am the Member of Parliament in Orléans. Je suis la députée fédérale d'Orléans. C'est vraiment un plaisir pour moi d'être avec vous. It's really a pleasure for me to be here this morning. And before we start, I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gathered is the traditional, unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. Nous rendons hommage à tous les peuples des Premières Nations, des Inuits et des Métis, ainsi qu'à leurs précieuses contributions passées et présentes à cette terre. I am truly excited to be back. I was here a few years ago when the building opened, today at Local 2041, and to be taking part in something that will go a long way to ensure Canadians have the skill and training they need to succeed. It is now my privilege to welcome my colleague, Minister Jenna Sudds, Ministers of Families, Children and Social Development, to talk about why we are here today. Madame la Ministre.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Yes, yeah, no problem. Thank you so much, Marie-France. Bon matin, bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. It's really great to be here. I had the honor of being here just a few months ago, and it's great to come back and great to have all of you joining us here this morning. C'est toujours un plaisir d'annoncer des bonnes nouvelles ici à Kanata. As a local member of Parliament as well for Kanata Carleton, it is always a joy to get to do these types of announcements and see these types of investments benefit our community and the city in general. So a big thank you, first of all, to John and the entire team here for hosting us. Thank you to all of you for being here this morning. It's great to see all of you, and it's great to be able to share some great news with all of you here today. So I'm here today to talk a bit about our government's work to build a workforce that is ready and able to meet the challenges that we face today, but also the challenges into the future, but also the importance of meeting that challenge. One of those, of course, is the housing crisis. We know we need to build more homes, and we need to build them faster so that every Canadian can have an affordable place to call home. And that's the Canadian dream. I think we can all relate to the desire and the need to be able to find an affordable home, which is exactly what this year's budget was all about, putting forward a plan to build almost 4 million new homes by 2031. It's an ambitious goal, and it takes all of you. It takes all of the trades, from framers to painters to electricians and everyone in between, to step forward and for us to support you so that we can make this dream a reality. My husband is a contractor. I shared that with John last time I was here, and I hear from him continually how difficult it is to find trades to support the projects that he works on and the projects that are happening across this city and, frankly, across this country. In order to build the homes that we need to ensure that we have the skilled trades, such as many of you here in this room today, stepping forward, and we need more to step forward and to realize what an incredible opportunity, career, and rewarding work it is to work in the trades. So thank you to all of you who have already realized that, who are putting in the hours and putting in the work in your trade. So whether you're an apprentice or whether you've been doing this for decades, you are doing important work here in this city, and those of you that are doing this work across the country, and we need you. We need you to build our communities and to help build out our country. So thank you. Pour construire ce Canada, notre gouvernement investit massivement pour aider à recruter et à former des Canadiens dans les métiers spécialisés Nous investissons en nous, which is why we are here today, because your government is committed to investing in housing, to investing in the workforce that's needed to build it, and in your future. And today I'm honored to be here on behalf of our government to announce that as a part of the Union Training and Innovation Program, 8 organizations here in the National Capital Region will be receiving over $14 million in funding, including right here in Kanata at Local 2041, where they are receiving just over $18,000 to purchase additional equipment. You might see it behind us here. Additional equipment that will be used in training for the next generation of skilled workers. These dollars are being invested right here in Ottawa, and they will ensure that organizations like this one can continue to retain, to recruit, and to train the people like yourselves that are helping to build our communities and our country. We aren't just investing in Ottawa, although thrilled to be here to celebrate this $14 million investment in Ottawa, but across Canada, there are over 100 projects under the Union Training and Innovation Program that will help unions and training providers improve the quality of training for thousands of workers across this country. Under the Innovation in Apprenticeship stream, 10 projects will support unions to recruit and train Red Seal trades. And our funding will help ensure that we also draw from a diversity of Canadians by supporting apprentices who are women, who are newcomers, persons with disabilities, Indigenous people, and racialized individuals, so that anyone who wants to do this work has the opportunity to succeed and has the support that they need to move forward. We aren't just supporting organizations that train apprentices. Through our investments, we're committed as well to make apprenticeships affordable. Every year, we invest nearly $1 billion a year in apprenticeship supports through grants, loans, and tax credits. C'est ce que je voulais dire plus tôt quand j'ai dit qu'en tant que gouvernement, nous investissons en vous et dans votre réussite. Now, let's be honest. We know that not everyone shares this vision of the future. A future where, through hard work and strong unions, we can build a resilient middle class and the almost 4 million homes that we need across this country. When it matters most, at every opportunity, Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have opposed investments to build more homes, to support you, the workforce, and to support unions. Pierre talks a big game, but he has spent his entire career trying to roll back the rights of working people, including championing 2 of the most anti-union bills this country has ever seen. Our government is committed to making these investments in things like housing and the workforce because these are good investments for Canadians, for workers, and for our shared future. Our funding will help ensure that we draw from the diversity of apprentices that are available to us. I'd like to thank all of you once again for being here today, and I'm thrilled to see these critical investments being made here in Kanata and throughout Ottawa. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Ministre, pour cette merveilleuse annonce. I must say, before entering politics, I used to build stuff. I was in the retirement home business. And your contribution, the everyday participation in the workforce that you're doing and the decision for coming into this sector is so important. So I want to say thank you for what you're studying, what you will accomplish, and what you've accomplished already. Merci beaucoup à vous tous. I would like now to introduce John Barron, Director of Government Relations and Communication from the Carpenters Regional Council, to say a few words.
Thank you, Minister Lalonde. I'd like to thank you and Minister Sudds for being here today, and the federal government for this incredible funding through UTIP. My name is John Barron. I am the Area Training Manager for Eastern Ontario with the Carpenters Regional Council. Here at the Carpenters Union, we place a great deal of importance on training the next generation. Our 75,000 members across Canada are building the critical infrastructure that our communities require, and we know that it is our duty to make sure that our members meet the highest standard of safety and skill while building. Here at this facility, we service Local 93 and Local 2041 members and train the next generation of skilled tradespeople who will build the future of this city and our country, many of whom are with us here today. In Ottawa alone, we train over 2,500 women and men annually in several areas, including pre-apprenticeship, upskilling, health and safety, as well as an in-house Red Seal apprenticeship program. Our facilities and training programs are paid for by our members' hard-earned money. That is why we recognize the immense value of government support when it comes to opportunities like the Union Training and Innovation Program. Through UTIP, the Carpenters Union across Canada has secured millions of dollars of funding to purchase equipment essential for training Canada's current and future skilled workforce. This investment supports our training centers by enhancing the quality of training we deliver to meet the needs of our contractor partners and to ensure that projects built by our members are brought in on time and on budget. Our members are building the critical infrastructure Canada will rely on for decades to come, including schools, hospitals, libraries, power plants, manufacturing facilities, and homes. We look forward to continuing to partner with the federal government on UTIP and other programs to ensure that our communities are UBC built. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And I want to say thanks to everyone for coming out today to be a part of this announcement. You know, I say this generally, by working together, we can ensure that more and more Canadians, including those from equity-deserving groups, gets the experience and the skills they need to succeed. And I think, as I mentioned, I can speak for everyone when I say that we can't wait to see the incredible things this investment will do for our city, but also for each and every one of you. Merci beaucoup. So this concludes the formal announcement. Je vais maintenant laisser la parole à Geneviève Lemaire, attachée de presse de la ministre Sudds, pour répondre aux questions des médias. I will now turn to Geneviève Lemaire, Press Secretary to Minister Sudds, for any questions from the media.
Oui, donc merci à tous d'être parmi nous. Nous allons maintenant commencer la période de questions. Pour les médias qui sont parmi nous, veuillez vous introduire ainsi que votre média. Un rappel que vous avez le droit à une question et un suivi. Thank you for being here. For the media that is with us in the room, when you come to the microphone, please remember to state your name and your outlet. A friendly reminder that you're allowed to ask one question and one follow-up. You can now come to either of the microphones.
Hello, Neville Hunt with the Community Voice newspaper here in Kanata. Mayor Sutcliffe has said the greatest challenge the city faces stems from the federal government stopping paying its fair share of property taxes to the city. That the federal government's shifted $100 million in costs to the city in the last 5 years alone. He also mentions one Toronto transit project of about $14 billion that was split 50-50 federal and provincial, with Torontonians paying zero. Are those numbers accurate?
Thank you, Neville. Nice to see you here, and thank you for the question. As I have stated previously last week, there are certainly some big challenges here in the city that Mayor Sutcliffe has in front of him. I won't comment on the numbers specifically that he has quoted. I think that's for him to speak to. But what I will say is that as a federal government, we continue to support the city in many big and small ways, and have done so since we were elected in 2015. I point most recently and very relevant to today's announcement to $173 million that we made available to the city through the Housing Accelerator Fund. I point to the over $50 million that we've invested through the Interim Housing Assistance Program, not to mention support that we have given for transit projects through LRT, through the purchase of electric buses. So we continue to look at ways to ensure support for the city. Ultimately, as a member of Parliament, myself, my colleague MP Lalonde, and all Ottawa members of Parliament, it is critically important to us that the residents of Ottawa are well served, not only by their federal government, but by their municipal government. And so, you know, I continue to speak with Mayor Sutcliffe and with council colleagues there. I previously sat as a city councillor, so I can certainly bring perspective to this discussion, and will continue to collaboratively work to find fiscally responsible ways to support their needs.
Hi, Faith Greco with CBC Ottawa. Given the Prime Minister's comments that the feds will work with the mayor, can Ottawa residents expect real negotiations that could lead to funding?
So as I have just said, I have a great relationship with Mayor Sutcliffe and with city councillors across this city. And we meet and we speak on a very regular basis. I mean, I speak to the mayor at least once a week, if not more. And so that work continues. I certainly think that, as the mayor has said, he's got some very large financial challenges in front of him and in front of council. It's not lost on anyone that these are expensive times, and we have seen over the last number of years since COVID an increase in the cost of living. We've seen interest rates that have been higher, but the good news is we are starting to come out of that. But as a city council who has maintained property tax increases at less than the rate of inflation, you know, there's arguably challenges with those decisions and moving forward in that, and whether that's sustainable. I look to other major cities across Canada, and we are seeing property tax increases of 7, 8, 9, 10%. I don't want to see that here in Ottawa, undoubtedly, and I will continue to work with the mayor to find ways to fiscally responsible ways to support them, but they also need to do their homework as well.
Thank you. My follow-up is that these issues are cutting a deep hole in city revenues. Doesn't the federal government have some sort of responsibility to assist the city through these difficult transitionatory times?
So the city, you know, as I ponder that question, we do not have our fingers or responsibility for a city budget. City budget is the responsibility of the mayor and of city council alone. Just as they are not responsible for our federal budget, that is the responsibility of the federal government. What we do have a responsibility for is to be there for the residents of Ottawa. And I think we have all been elected with that in mind. And so, you know, I think there's a desire, and there has been a tremendous amount of work ongoing with the city council to ensure that, you know, the residents of Ottawa are well supported. By no means do I want to see a reduction in the levels of transit or services that residents of Ottawa receive. But ultimately, this is the responsibility of the mayor and of city council, not of the federal government.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Blair Crawford from the Ottawa Citizen, and apologies for taking off topic again today, but one of the mayor's complaints was that the federal government's allowed buildings downtown to sit vacant and deteriorate. Jackson Building was one that he mentioned specifically, and he just said that that's harming the city. I mean, that really is a federal responsibility to look after those properties and make sure they're being used adequately. And so I'm wondering what your response is to those allegations.
And I continue to engage with the mayor in those conversations along with my colleagues. And we do have a number of federal properties across the city. And frankly, that's a benefit to our city. That means jobs here in our city. That means revenues here in our city. And I think we should be celebrating that we are the home of the federal government and all the economic benefits that come from that. Having said that, we have a system in place in which the federal government does not pay taxes to other levels of government, but we do have a system where we pay what's called PILTs. It's a very convoluted issue. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but we do pay, it's called payments in lieu of taxes. And we continue to pay these PILTs on properties when they are vacant, when they are being renovated. Regardless of the status, those payments are made to the City of Ottawa.
And a follow-up question on the same topic. The mayor was careful to say that he wasn't urging federal government workers to go back into the office, yet it's pretty clear that that's one of the major contributing factors to the financial problems downtown. Is the government committed to continuing that process of increasing the number of days that workers are working downtown in the office?
Those decisions have been communicated by my colleague through Treasury Board and through the clerk of the Privy Council. Those are not political decisions. Those are decisions made by the clerk based on workforce needs. As it stands currently, I think the mayor has issues and that there has been a transit system that has been built essentially, as his own words, to serve the public service. And there is not as many users as was anticipated. Again, these are city issues that the city needs to dig into, and the city needs to find solutions in order to solve.
Hi, Minister. Darcy Tony from Omni and City News. I got a couple of questions from a couple of colleagues, so bear with me while I read them here. Ontario has released a new daycare funding model that will cap fees at $22 a day next year, but also will delay the move to $10 a day until March 26. There are also reports that the province will start charging daycare centers full market rents next year, claiming they can use the federal funds from the national program to make up the difference. What is your reaction to the overall funding changes from the Ontario government? And also, what is your reaction specifically to the rent changes? Is this what you intended for the federal funds to be used for?
There's a lot there.
Yes.
That's okay. I'll try to touch on all of it. So thank you for the question. Yesterday was a good day, frankly, for parents here in Ontario. I have been urging the provincial government for months since I took on this file as Minister for Families, Children, and Social Development to move forward with a funding formula or funding allocation for daycare operators across this province that meets their needs. Because we need to ensure that they have the finances that they need, not only to operate day in and day out, but also to be able to contemplate growing the number of spaces that they offer to families so that we see wait lists come down. So I'm very thrilled that the province yesterday announced that they are releasing their funding formula effective January 1st. This is really good news, and I will be engaging with the childcare operators in the coming days and weeks to ensure that it is going to fit those needs. With respect to their announcement to get the childcare fees down to an average of $22, likewise, this is very good news. We have put forward $10.2 billion in funding to the province of Ontario over 5 years to see that they get to an average of $10 a day by 2026, as well as creating 86,000 new childcare spots across this country. Why? Because this matters to families. It matters to families that they can find quality, affordable, inclusive care close to home. So there are some provinces that have already got to $10 a day, undoubtedly, but I am encouraged by the progress and by yesterday's announcement that they have got to $22 a day, and I have full confidence that they will continue to move towards $10 a day by March of 2026. Your last question with respect to rents, market rents, yes. This is also news to me and a new development in Ontario that they have moved to market rents within their government-owned buildings. You know, obviously I do not want to see additional hurdles put in the way of creating new childcare spaces across this province, much needed spaces for parents in every corner of this province. So it is an issue that I intend to raise with the minister when I meet with him next week.
Okay. And just as a follow-up, another long one from the colleague here. On temporary foreign workers, I know this is not specifically your file, but since you were making this announcement on behalf of the employment minister, they're wondering, experts say the changes the government is considering to the TFW program around blocking low-wage workers won't be enough to address the structural problems that led to abuses. Will the government consider more changes, especially in light of the recent UN report that criticizes the program as a breeding ground for modern-day slavery?
Thank you for the question. As you've rightly said, this is under the steadfast leadership of Minister Boissonnault, who has been publicly speaking about some of the challenges and the changes that he believes are required. So I will defer this to his steadfast leadership, but thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes today's question period. We'll now move on for an official photo. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Good job. Good job. Thank you.